Hey friends, Kevin here, and I've been watching a little bit of what's been going on with this hurricane, and I knew some of the names sounded familiar, and I just realized that the first place that I ever spent the night beach camping was completely annihilated by Hurricane Laura. This pretty much was the eye of the storm and where all the waves were coming through. So we're going to talk about that. Talk about other things that went on at that time and on that trip that I've never posted on YouTube before because I really wasn't into doing videos at that time. So there was a lot of traveling I did that you've never seen or heard about. So let's get to it. So on this particular trip, we left Tennessee, headed to Texas. I knew I was going to go into Mexico. I also knew that I wanted to do beach camping along the Gulf, which we did a lot of that all the way down through Texas. This was in 2017, I believe. And I threw up a couple of videos that were just basically for us to look back on someday. So even though this one on this particular beach has gotten a lot of views over the years, it's a really bad video because I didn't know what I was doing. But if you want some laughs, feel free to take a gander at it. I'll put a link down in the description. But on a serious note, this Creole, Louisiana, Rutherford Beach, it was a beautiful place. And I can tell you the people in that area are just awesome people. The people that we met, the people that we talked to, a lot of families out there. That first night, having bought the minivan, this being the first trip, we camped a few places on the way there, so I don't remember. This was maybe the 5th or 6th day of this trip or something. But I was so excited about beach camping. Camping there right at the Gulf and looking out at the oil rigs in the distance. And it turned into a complete disaster, which is kind of what the video is about. We were putting things away that night. We didn't have a lot of experience doing this, especially in the van. We pretty much had been in a few campgrounds up to this point, so this was the real first rough, raw camping in the minivan. And I can remember just feeling like my ankles were on fire. And putting the last things away and getting out and getting the last bottles of water out of the cooler and getting in the van, it just didn't feel right. And I kept looking down and I couldn't see anything. To this day, I don't know what the problem was. I got up the next morning, I jumped on the bike, I went through the sand again. The bike got eat up with salt, you know, from that area. I didn't ride long, and, you know, we jumped in the van and we were headed now towards Texas. We decided to detour off to Houston, check out the Space Center there, and then come back and go down the Gulf and continue camping. So we leave this area of Creole. We come to the next place down through there, which is Cameron, I guess. Again, this an area that was just completely annihilated by this hurricane. And this 2-lane road you're on, which is the lowest road basically in this part of the United States. I mean, you're traveling just very close to the Gulf as you come across Louisiana going into Port Arthur, Texas. There is a part of the road that's missing. You have to get on a ferry with your vehicle, and it costs like $1, I think, and you can see the other side of it. But rather than rebuild the road from whatever had happened previously, they just decided that was it. They're going to ferry you across, and they ferry us across to the other side, and we continued on. So we get over to Port Arthur, we're headed towards Houston. I end up getting up on Interstate 10 or whatever. And at this point, my ankles and feet are just on absolute fire. And I am grabbing alcohol, hand sanitizer, whatever, and I'm kind of rubbing on this stuff as I'm going down the road because I can't see anything there and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I just know that it's awfully painful, and this is the only thing that seems to be giving me any relief. So we get on to Houston, do that thing. That night, I'm taking my socks off and get ready to shower and all that, and I am just eat up. I mean, I have like 100 bites on my ankle and feet. It was horrible for days after that. I had not had anything like that since I was a kid, and I got into chiggers, the little red mites that I also did a video about. They're called different things in different parts of the country. To this day, they're in Creole. I don't know if I got into sand fleas. I don't know what it was, because I know there's things that people call no-see-ums down in there. I certainly couldn't see whatever it was that just ate me alive. And the point being, as horrible as this first night was, and this first experience was, you would think that I would not have wanted to do any more of this, but I did. I figured it had to get better, and sure enough, it did. And we camped 5 or 6 other places on down the Gulf, that east part of Texas. We never had any more problems with anything like that. So I don't know what got me on that beach in Louisiana. But I do know it was a nice little area, and there's so many areas that I have gone through on trips. As soon as we left Texas, a few weeks later, they got hit by a hurricane, and all that stuff down around Mustang Island State Park and Rockport and Fulton, which are 2 beautiful towns, they were devastated. I've had things happen on some other trips, and we were talking about that today, and someone referred to me as the Angel of Death. I really don't like that moniker. I'm going to call it a coincidence that bad things have happened to a lot of people, a lot of places that I traveled to. But of course, we want to keep the people in that area in our thoughts. If you have the opportunity to donate to something that will help people in that area, do it. I know I'm going to do that. Like I said, just really great people, and the Cajun accents, and I just had a blast out of the people that I met and was able to talk to there. So what's the point of this video? One of the points, I guess, is to let you know, because sometimes it looks like I know what I'm doing because I have 3 or 4 years experience of doing this van stuff a lot now on these long trips. I can tell you, I started out probably like you did, or like you may if you're thinking about doing this and haven't started it yet. Not everything is going to go right. There are going to be just unforeseen, silly things that are going to happen. But if you just grind through those things and grind through those bad experiences, you will get to the things with great experiences and great scenery, and the things that you will make great memories of. And even the things that are not so great memories that seem like a big deal at the time, they'll just become funny later on and give you something to tell a story about. But I thought some of you may find this interesting. Some of you may know people that live in that area. Some of my viewers may even be from that area. I have a feeling if they aren't going to be seeing any YouTube videos for a while. I know as of this morning, there were 800,000 people in that area without power. Look at the devastation in some of those areas. It's going to be weeks before they have power restored. I know the weather crap that came through and did so much damage in Iowa, which was about 3 weeks ago. I've been in some forums, and there's still people in Iowa that don't have power 3 weeks later. So it's going to be really rough on these people down in Louisiana. But this is a reminder to take advantage of things and do things when you can, because you never know what is going to happen in the future. You never know when there's going to be something, and I've talked about this in videos before. You never know when there's going to be something that you want to see, and you want to do, and you want to experience that simply may not be there 2 years or 5 years or 10 years from now. Whether it's from a natural disaster, whether it's something that just burns to the ground, whether it's something that gets vandalized, like a lot of things do on places like Route 66 or the Lincoln Highway running through Iowa. Things change out there. There are things that have changed when I went through a place and went back through the same place a year later, and some of the things simply weren't there anymore. I know on Route 66, a gorgeous bridge got torn out of that place about 6 months ago. The highway department could have saved it. They decided they didn't want to deal with it, put a bigger road in, ripped the old original bridge out, which had a two-way walkway. About the only thing like that that was left anywhere in that 2,400 mile stretch of Route 66. So things change. If you have something on that bucket list, the things that are important to you on that bucket list, you may want to start trying to work toward being able to see those kinds of things. So I hope this video came across as positive and not negative, because negative is certainly not the way I intended it to be. As for what's coming up on the channel, there's some other travel videos coming up from trips this year that I simply have not posted. There's stuff from 2 years ago that I didn't post that I think you would enjoy if I can ever get the time to put them together, but they're starting to get a little bit dated now. And there was stuff from 3 and 4 years ago on these trips that I simply didn't document well enough to make videos of, which is a shame, because there's so many places like that that you guys and gals might enjoy. But what I can get up, I will get up. There's going to be some more minivan stuff coming up. The bed build video is being worked on now. A few other things to do with the minivan. The larger white van, I'm doing some videos on it. This is going to pertain not just because it's a road trek, but to anybody that has a Dodge van, full-size van, cargo van of any type that they may be converted and camping in, or something that you may end up buying someday to do this kind of stuff in. So I'm dealing with some things with paint. I'm going to show you some ways to save a lot of money and be able to do some of these things yourself. So I hope you stick around. Hope you're a subscriber. If you're not, I hope you consider being a subscriber. Let me know what it is that you're interested in down in the comments. Let me know the things that are most important to you, that you want to see, me do videos of, and we'll talk soon.